I'm going to be drawing my absolute favorite vehicle, the fanboat. I love fanboats. Now, have I ever been on a fanboat? No. Have never been on a fanboat. No idea what the reality of the fanboat is, but the fantasy of the fanboat is so perfect. It feels like this great piece of janky ingenuity. How do you get through a place that's swampy and wet, so you can't use a traditional vehicle, but it's full of reeds and roots and all this mucky plant life and mud? You make this shallow, wide boat, and instead of having any propulsion that relies on something inside of the water, you have this fan, a propeller in the air, just blasting with so much power to move you around through the marsh. That concept is so goddamn cool to me, and I'm going to be doing a fan boat in the style of Dieselpunk. One of my favorite things about the Dieselpunk aesthetic, barrels, the thing at the front of the barrel of the gun with a bunch of Swiss cheese holes in it, that shit's so cool. Holy fuck. I am anti-war, I really am, but I am not going to lie and say that I don't think military aesthetic is so goddamn sexy. I know it's glorification of something bad. I get it. I understand the problems. I must enjoy it. I have to. It is demanded of me to enjoy a grungy military vibe. Because it's this mix of formality and practicality that just is so specific to what it is. And I think that's why I love Dieselpunk as a vibe. You get mud, you get gears, you get the pew pew pew, you get plumes of gunpowder smoke. It's horrible. It has one of the worst views of the world, but god damn, it's sexy. The designs of Cowboy Bebop that I'm definitely biting off here is the idea that you have a big beefy guy, but he's not like the loves to fight trained in combat one. Those are working muscles, you know? It's from tightening bolts and lugging big sheets of metal to repair a hole in something. So we got the big beefy engineer. Our gunner here, he's got keen eyes, he's a skinny little lad, just a crack shot, doesn't really want to be here, and she's fiery and feisty and has the bazooka, and she's the commander. She's in charge of this strike force. Your typical eager fight girl. Look, sometimes I don't have to subvert expectations because I like an eager fight girl. I think it's a good archetype. God, I tried to Google Dieselpunk girl for Steam reference. I need to search woman. That's what it is. It's gotta be because I said girl. Have the steampunks infected? They have. Oh my god, no. The steampunks have infected my Dieselpunk. Why do they all have silly goggles and corsets? That's not Dieselpunk. What have they done? Okay, I thought about doing this picture 6 months ago. I looked up reference for it, I did some trials, and I just decided I wasn't ready. I wanted to practice more, I wanted to get a bit better. What the... And now I Google it again, and all of the Dieselpunk girls are wearing steampunk goggles and corsets. It's a crime. This art needs to not just be good, this art needs to be so goddamn good that it can end up on the Google image results of Dieselpunk. I love when an elite team goes into combat in shorts and gumboots. Hell yeah, Ire. What else are they gonna wear? It's the swamp. They gotta wear shorts and gumboots. It's practical.
I love the idea of trying to have any kind of communication on a fanboat, because those things are so goddamn loud. I was on a fanboat when I was down in Florida.
So
it was a great time. I saw some gators. That was the whole purpose of the fanboat. But oh my god, it's so loud.
Oh, that's why they all got the earpieces built into the helmets. No way to communicate otherwise. Actually, she should have a mic. That's a good point.
They should have mics, or they should know sign language.
Ooh, absolutely. They absolutely know sign language. That's a good point. Adds to the lore. We have a thing here where she's pointing her bazooka so that the back end is going to blast exhaust in this poor guy's face. But I also said she was the officer, she's in charge of this unit. And how to make sense of her being so irresponsible is this is a society where only the highborn go to a military academy and get to become officers. So she's highborn, that's why she's an officer. But she's kind of a fuck up, which is why she only gets a fan boat, and also why she points her rocket launcher so that it blasts this poor guy's face. Like, she's talented in a lot of ways, irresponsible.
And look, we can't all be winners. And I don't know, maybe that guy shouldn't be trying to stand behind someone with a bazooka.
Yeah.
People don't like it when women do anything. Where is this boat that they're on? Is it in the southern United States of America?
I honestly can't decide if this is an AU of our world, or if this is a fantasy world. I think it's a fantasy world, because I think I said I wanted magic to be included, but have I changed my mind? That was last stream. You know what? I'm making a no-go backsies rule. This project has a no-go backsies rule. I'm not gonna undo it, I'm only gonna add. So this is a fantasy world.
You can only yes and.
Yep, yes and only, no going back. We only have one pedal and it's up. That's not how pedals work.
No, I was about to say, what the fuck are you talking?
They've all got shorts on, I decided last time, because they got a truck through the mud a lot, so wearing pants would be awful. So they have like sealed gumboots and shorts.
Well, you don't want to give them waders?
I thought about it and it felt too uncool.
No, she's just having fun.
Yeah. Look, she drunk the Kool-Aid, she's all in on military doctrine, she's out here serving her country with a rocket launcher. I mean, I guess it makes sense that the one who's like a noble woman and an officer would be the one who's like, yes, this is good what we're doing. I think this is one of those fantasy settings where there is magic, but like, it's kind of rare. I think this army doesn't use magic in their military. Their enemy does.
Are they not like cool enough to use magic?
I think magic's just really risky, so you are taking a risk if you want to employ a wizard, because shit can go wrong. It's that kind of setting.
How wrong do you think it could go? Like, how bad are we talking here?
I think it could go absolutely disastrous, rip a hole in reality, but that's very unlikely, and the more common thing is your wizard blows up, and maybe with a couple of dudes. Like, that's the most likely but worst case scenario. Now, what I haven't decided yet is, are these guys the bad guys who are invading, or are they defending their territory? Because I like both. It also could just be like a border skirmish where both sides kind of are in the wrong, and everybody thinks they're in the right. What's your leaning here for Fight Girl and the lads, Chat and Bronwyn? What do people think? Are they the bad guys? Are they invading? Are they defending their territory? What's happening?
Oh man, I don't know.
Asking the hard questions. What's the third choice, Bods?
Everyone's being a bit dumb.
Okay. Okay, so how's...
There's no good, there's no bad, there's just stupid.
How do we feel like the reason there's fighting in a swamp at all is it was seen as a wasted territory that for a long time has just been kind of nobody's, like nobody really lives here because it's a swamp and it's hard to survive in. And a powerful natural resource was discovered in the swamp recently, and that's why this skirmish has started between two nations. I kind of like that.
They're all like extra the worst.
I think that sounds fun. Well, not fun, you know, for anyone involved, but
yeah, it should be natural gas. For Dieselpunk, it's absolutely natural gas that they're after. There's just a natural gas reserve that's been discovered in the swamp.
And everyone's like, I can't believe we missed this, you guys.
He has the most I really don't want to be here vibes. Bods agrees with Bronwyn. Look, engineer, man grumpy in a corner. It's an energy.
I don't know, you just know, like, he's definitely, like, very attractive.
Oh, yeah.
There's links there, you know.
I feel like, as a character, I am so biased to the archetype of Fight Girl, but as far as, like, which one I'd rather hang out with, it's definitely the engineer. Like, I think this woman would be awful to be around.
Oh, probably. Well, she could be fun in certain, like, scenarios. Like, she's probably a hell of a time at parties, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I think the engineer at a small social gathering is a great time, but at a party, he's just kind of in the corner, petting the dog. Not life of the party. This guy, I think, is going to grow into himself right now. I think, in over his head, doesn't want to be here, and in over his head, got conscripted into this, should by all accounts not be here, but good at what he does. Because I really love the mix of competence and absolute mess, and I think that's what this guy's got going for him. Pip is absolutely right. The gunner does have the vibes of the rookie who dies in a war movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, that dude is not long for the world.
He is absolutely the one who is going to make Fight Girl reevaluate her attitude.
Maybe in this world he just gets really horribly wounded, but he doesn't die.
I think he loses an eye.
Because she won't stop blasting the gun in his face?
No, I don't think that. I think, like, fighting an enemy because of a reckless charge she does, he is gonna lose an eye. And she's like, damn, I should think things through more. Oh my god, and his nickname becomes Deadeye.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because he's a sharpshooter with a dead eye. It's golden. Wouldn't losing an eye be a perfect excuse to go home? In a sane and kind world, it would be. But this military is just like, what's your job? Gunning? Cool. Well, is it your good eye or your bad eye that's down? Alright, you're in. Keep fighting.
I assume they don't live on the fanboat. Like, I assume they get to go places that aren't the fanboat. And they have, like, some sort of base or something.
They absolutely have a base. I think they will spend nights pretty often camping out on the fanboat out of necessity, but it's not, like, the base of operations. Like, the goal is not to sleep on the fanboat, it just happens. What did Tank Girl do to get stuck in the Bog War Squad straight out of the academy? I think just, like, the mix of her tactical prowess and quick thinking and shooting skills being enough that they wanted her to fight, with her attitude being so reckless and poor, and her, like, just general mental state being so incalculable as an asset. They were like, well, we want you fighting, but we don't want you doing anything where you fucking up is gonna cost us much, so you're gonna be a recon tactical hit squad.
I do like that she has a very, like, Starship Troopers helmet.
This is the boy.
I'm doing my part.
Yeah, this one's the boy, this is the gunner.
Oh.
It's all good. It is a very Starship Troopers helmet. Military helmets generally look a bit dorkier in real life than in media, just because prevent a bullet from killing a person when it hits their head is hard. And I kind of find the dorky big helmets appealing and charming. Like, look at you in your big bicycle helmet.
Safety first.
Yeah. Hope you're having a good time, and if you are, please subscribe. It is so important. And if you want to be on the show, have some free art drawn, talk about your character, please go to the description below, click the Discord invite link. I would love to talk to you, but you gotta be there if I'm gonna see you. Anyways, back to the show. Like, I think he was a mechanic before he was conscripted, but he was conscripted as a military mechanic. And I think the draft isn't grabbing everyone, but they needed more mechanics specifically, and that's why he was taken. To make it nice and appropriately dark, I think there were some people living in the swamp beforehand who just didn't want to be part of these two nations. And I think he is from seized territory. Like, he's not even a national of the same nation as these two. I think he's from the middle ground, and they've been conscripting boat engineers to help them get through the swamp. So I think he's straight up not even a national. Like, this war should have nothing to do with him, but it's his people's territory that's being fought over. He drinks to cope with this situation. I said I wanted a nice draft. I didn't mean this. Please let me go. If it's about learning their lesson, maybe they briefly defect to give information to the other army when they realize that their side has been evil, and then when they get to the other side, they realize they're just as bad. Then I guess their saga would become trying to end the war, which feels kind of big for just some ragtag squatters, but, you know, maybe that's an interesting story. This God, what did I say? It was something insane, like, this pedal only has one direction and it's up. But basically, anything I decide offhand as lore has to stay. I'm not allowed to retcon. Oh god, I just realized. The fact that he's a conscript from seized territory would explain why he doesn't get a helmet, and that sucks. No, I think he's valuable enough that they'd have to give him a helmet, so he's just choosing not to wear it. Yeah, I can't... You know what? I said it. I said this pedal has one direction and it's up. He doesn't have a helmet because he's not a national. And because I said it, we have to stick to it. So the retcon didn't count when I said no, they'd have to. No, they don't have to. They didn't. This pedal has one direction and it's up. I'm sticking to it. This is the worst phrase. That means nothing. I'm committed to saying it because it's funny, but it's awful. It's so nothing. If anyone catches me trying to go back on lore that I've added, remind me. This pedal has one direction. Ooh, maybe that should be the first chat emoji I make. I thought it'd be my face, the little Drawk show face, but maybe it should be this pedal. Just a pedal with an up arrow. He's secretly Rambo? Look, Rambo 1 Rambo fits this guy's vibe of like PTSD and trauma and having a difficult time with the things he's had to do, being an enemy of his nation who's been left to suffer. All of that fits this man. He's just never gonna have a Rambo 2, 3, 4, etc. where suddenly he's like, I love the country and I'll kill anyone who says different. He's stuck in his Rambo 1 and what was the one where they came back? Was it just called Rambo? He's stuck in that era. I need to reiterate that this little skinny guy here is a man. This is a boy, because I've shown this art to some people and they have claimed that this is a girl, and it's just a skinny little guy, and you shouldn't misgender him just because he's tiny. Actually, I showed my parents this one, and my mom thought all 3 of them were girls. We're going to start naming the other 2, because I remember Bronwyn came up with a name for the big guy that I agreed with, and I'm going to give her a chance to remember it because I forgot, because I don't want to take back the agreement I made. Because this pedal goes up, but that doesn't mean I remember. It means that when I make a decision, I need to remember it if I'm going to stick to it. I thought it was just about commitment, but it's going to be about actually fucking knowing what I've committed to. Yeah, no, the pedal goes up. Am I feeling Stacy? The only hesitancy I have is I have family named Stacy. But, you know, she doesn't own the name Stacy. Well, especially close family. Stacy. Ooh. On her hero arc after getting dumped for her mom? What? Wait. Are you proposing a story where she's dating someone who broke up with her to date her mom? Oh my god, no. No. Terrible. Bad. Sin. I'm glad I didn't entertain that long enough to have to pedal that statement. Okay. Do I like Stacy? Do I like Taylor? I'm leaning Stacy. I think I'm leaning Stacy for her. Terrible jokes aside. Alright, I think I've sat with enough that we're gonna commit. We are committing. Her name is Stacy. Does anyone have an idea for our scrawny little gunner, what his name could be? My mind goes to Richard right away, but that doesn't feel right. So yeah, Richard. Richard ain't right. That's not it, is it? How do people feel about Carter? Possibly Carter, possibly Richard. Not Richard, no. Carter's up there. Carter's in the running. Ooh. Is this kid a Trevor? Just realized something wrong with his facial structure. Sorry, Trevor. We gotta give you an operation. Trevor! You know what? I just called him Trevor, so, on impulse there. So, I think I'm committed. I think that's the rule. Oh god, does the squad need a name? Like, they need call signs, but the squad needs a name too. Oh man, what is the squad called? What's the fanboat team called? So they're like a strike force. They work in the fanboat. They stay out for long periods of time. They do long missions where they're out in the bayou collecting data, spying, and they do basically like sabotage and demolition missions are their end goal if they can get away with it. What kind of name fits that? I guess like that's kind of a gator, right? Like gators lie in wait for up to a year before ambushing prey. Just kind of being out there in the swamp, and then they strike. So something Gator themed I actually don't hate. It wouldn't just be Gator Squad, that feels too simple. Yeah, Steel Gators is kind of what I was leaning to as well. It feels cool, but I think you're right that maybe some other kind of metal would be better. Like, aluminum Gators, no. Cobalt Gators. Copper Gators? Copper feels too weak. Gold Gators feels too fancy. Mercury Gators is nothing. That's... Iron Gators kind of sounds cooler than steel. The Copper Crocs. I do like that better than Copper Gators, at least. Copper Crocs, huh? Oh. What am I feeling between Copper Crocs and Iron Gators? I don't think I want Gator or Croc for their call name, but I think the fanboat's the Copper Croc. That's what I'm going with. I think we need a different strike name for them, but the fanboat is called the Copper Croc. That's its name. So I like Copper Croc a lot, and I don't think we can use Copper Croc and Iron Gators. Like, I don't think we can do both of those. Yeah, alright. I'm glad you're in, Not Husky. We got the Copper Croc, the fanboat. There's no way it's the first Copper Croc? Ooh, maybe. Ooh. I kind of like 4, because then it could be called CC4, and CC4 just sounds kind of nice. Oh, and they can call her CC for short. God, yeah. Yes. 100%. So we have the Copper Croc. I'm trying to think of a good call sign for them, or like a squad name for them now, because let's think. What's a solid name for these guys? I really like all their different helmets. I know that a real military would probably all be standard issue instead of by rank, and like they wouldn't all look so different, but I don't know. Each of them having a unique helmet makes me happy. And it feels like a little bit of visual storytelling that they aren't all considered equal by the military. Stacy's mom has nothing going on. Boring. Fuck it. You know what? Let's this pedal goes up. We're gonna solve it. What's Stacy's mom's life like? I'm gonna decide right now. She also went to the Officers Academy. She was a renowned war hero and did like fucking rad in the previous war that the country fought. Extreme patriot, very zealous, and is the reason that Stacy's as like intense about this as she is, but also the reason that Stacy has so much hubris that she doesn't take things seriously enough, because she's like, well, my mom's a war hero, so I'm awesome by nature. Didn't put enough attention into her studies and got posted on a fan boat. But she's like, whatever, I'm so great that I'm gonna accomplish shit anyways. Stacy's mom is who taught her how to shoot, and drilled it into her kids that they needed to serve their country. She was loving, but more patriotic than loving, you know? Like, that, the country comes first. And she takes a lot of pride in that their family serves the nation. I think Trevor's parents have other kids, and with this draft, because it's not an equitable society, you can either, like, pay a fee or send one of your children from your farm if you're a farmer. And they paid a fee for like his sister and both of his brothers and not for him. Like they couldn't afford to pay a fee for all 4 children. And because he's so small, he's the least useful on the farm. So they just weren't, they needed to pick one kid to send off on the draft, and they picked him. So he like 100% knows that if his parents had to choose to not save one of their children, he's the one they picked. And I think it is at least partially because he's the best shot. Like, he's a good shot with a rifle. He's the one who would, like, shoot rabbits that got onto the farm. But also, like, he's scrawny and not very strong, and just, like... I don't think he's the youngest, though. I think he has a younger brother. He's just the smallest. You know what would be funny, Pip, is if people confuse him for the youngest sometimes because he's the smallest, and his nickname, like what people call him, is Trev4, because they're like, you're the 4th child. And goddamn, even his younger brother calls him that. Very rude. So Gerald, his people kind of lived autonomously. They were settlers in the swamp area that no one wanted to live in. And their culture really relies on fan boats to get around, obviously. They do a lot of survivalism. A lot of how they interact with the outside used to be like doing tours, or like if people wanted to go fishing or needed to get somewhere, they'd act as river guides. And when the war broke out, both sides conquered sections of their land right away. So they are being forcibly recruited on either side to be boat engineers. And to his estimation, this side is less like both sides are bad. They're both here for the oil in the swamp that's been discovered. But to his estimation, this side has always been the one that he's done business with at the very least. So he's got an in with them, so it's better for his village if they win. So he's like, yeah, I'm helping. He doesn't like these two at first, but as he gets to know them, gets closer to him. He used to be a boat engineer and pilot who would like help people do scouting expeditions or help people on hunting trips, do trade missions if they needed to send goods somewhere. And he's been conscripted to work as a fanboat engineer for their military advance, now that that's like a necessary part of their culture. I think they are like kind of looked down upon and mistreated a little bit because they aren't like nationals. They're not of the nation. They've been recently conquered, but they are treated fairly well and are highly regarded because the operation falls apart without their support. Like, if they just decide to turn tail run and stop fixing the fan boats, everything falls apart. So they are pretty well paid. So he gets a lot of money, despite the fact that he's not given like a ton of protective gear or necessarily the same like benefits as a soldier. So he's an experienced fanboat engineer who's been doing this for a long time, conscripted into the military, not technically required to fight, has at some points needed to defend himself, but like he is here to drive the boat and to fix the boat. Which I think also puts him in a weird position where like Stacy's kind of his superior and can give him orders, but can only give him orders that are within his job description. So she can never basically ask him to enter combat, to shoot somebody, can never order him to like take up arms or be a distraction or anything. Like all she can order him to do is, where does the boat go? Yeah, passive aggressive contractor. Like the relationship between his people who are necessary for this and the nation that's taking over is tenuous. And the military is trying their best to like train engineers to do what these guys do. But the problem is like, even if they can learn how to repair the fan boat, repairing it out in the swamp is difficult, and the amount of experience these guys have is just unparalleled. So the scouting missions, like there are probably like squads that will come out, like 20 fan boats armed with giant guns coming out for like a battle. But these scouts who go deep and far away from supply lines, you need the native engineers to be able to handle that. Like, because they're so far away from supplies, they need to be able to make do with very little and without like relying on each other for expertise. So all of the scout expeditions like this one that go far, far from supply lines need someone like him. So maybe he's not conscripted from the area they've conquered because they can't handle them running away, and instead it's been like, it's an offer thing, sort of. Like every village needs to give a certain number of engineers, but the villages choose who, so he volunteered. Maybe he volunteered so someone he knows doesn't have to. I think Gerald has a lady back home who also does this. And, like, it was basically gonna have to be one of them from their village who was sent out. I think the promise drafted. Like, it was the offer the villages get is, like, they can choose not to send somebody, but that means we're annexing you and taking you over. If you send, like, if your village sends an engineer, well then, we're gonna count you as part of our nation when this war's over, and you get the protections that come with that. So your choice is basically, like, let your engineers be drafted or be conquered. Which I think is why, like, these Trevor and Stacy, they don't get why Gerald is like kind of salty about why he's not loyal. Like, they don't get why he's mad about this arrangement at all, because they're like, well, you volunteered. And he's like, you really don't get the situation, huh? I think over time they all come to understand each other. Yeah, I guess I did previously say that he was drafted, so by this pedal goes up, me having now said he was drafted and wasn't, it has to be air quotes drafted, so that both can be true. It wasn't technically a draft, but basically was. As the spirit of this pedal goes up is if I say something that conflicts, I need to find a way to justify it. Obi-Wan style, where I'm like, from a certain perspective. Okay. I think I can clap again. I think. Holy crap, everybody. This has been so much fun. It has taken so long to work on. I've had an absolute blast. I genuinely couldn't have made this as good as it is without everybody being here. Having people to do this for is why I was able to give this my all in the way I could. And I'm so grateful to everyone for tuning in. Thank everybody so much for being here. The Dieselpunk fanboat saga has ended after 2 months of slow and steady progress. And now we get to give it the ultimate stamp of approval, which is slapping the logo on it. Well, until next time, it's been lovely talking to you. Have a good one. Like 14 functional commander decks. I don't have a single playmat. And it's because I've kind of always had this weird philosophy where I feel like I could one day make good enough art that I would want to make a playmat out of my own artwork.